estamos con Lee Ranaldo, uno de los fundadores de Sonic Youth. Vamos a hacerle un par de preguntas porque hoy a la noche toca en Bebop Club. Hoy acústico, mañana eléctrico. Vamos a preguntarle primero cuáles son las diferencias entre las dos fechas. So you're playing tonight and tomorrow at Bebop Club.
Yes.
One of the shows is acoustic, the other one is electric. What's the difference between both?
Well, it's two different presentations of what I do these days. Tonight is going to be a song concert, and it won't be fully acoustic. It's going to be sort of half electric, half acoustic, but it's going to be presenting songs and maybe talking a little bit, telling some stories. And tomorrow night is going to be a much more electric concert with films by Leah Singer, and it'll be a more sort of experimental, improvisational evening. I'm going to have my guitar hung from a string and just exploring a different side of things. So tonight is songs, and tomorrow is more experimental.
Talking about experimental, you've always been really experimental, and now you play with the suspended guitar and with the violin bow and everything.
Yeah.
So have you always been that curious since you were a child about all the sound possibilities in instruments?
Well, I guess so. I mean, more and more so as I've gotten deeper into being a musician myself. But yeah, I guess right from the beginning, I've always been kind of curious about that stuff. But once I moved to New York and saw the kind of experiments that people were doing in different ways, different stringings, different tunings, different treatments, that kind of led me to want to explore some more stuff like that myself.
And what do you find? Like, how do you start working on that and researching and finding stuff?
I don't know. Mostly it's kind of like you're searching around. You play a lot. First of all, you play a lot. And so in the course of playing, you're trying different things, trying one thing or another thing, or you get bored and you try something just because you're bored and it turns out to be something interesting, or you read something about some technique and you want to try and make an adaptation of it for your own purpose.
Okay. And you've also been an explorer of different arts, like you're a visual artist and you also write literature and poetry. How was that search for? I mean, was it a specific search to be a multifaceted artist?
It wasn't really so much a search as the fact that I've just always done those things since I was small. I've always been making visual stuff and writing and playing music. And so I guess I just never left any of them behind. When I was in university, I trained as an art student because it didn't really seem at that point like you could become a musician for a career, especially a rock musician. Little did I know. But I've always been a writer and a visual artist as well as a musician, so I've just kind of kept all of them going. I really love to do them all.
Okay. And I've read an interview you did a couple of weeks ago, and you've cited Pet Sounds as a big influence and as a true studio album.
Yeah.
Like as one of the influences for Electric Stream. This week, Pet Sounds turned 52 years old.
Okay.
So what do you think is the key for that long-lasting life?
Well, I mean, the main key is that it's just an amazing, remarkable record, But I was talking about records like Pet Sounds or the Beatles' Revolver or Sgt. Pepper or Dark Side of the Moon or Anthem of the Sun by the Grateful Dead as records that were really created in a studio. And that's the way my newest record, Electric Trim, was done. It wasn't done with a rock band where you would just put up the microphones and the band plays the songs. It was much more of a studio construction. So while we were making it, we were thinking about those records that were really done that way in a studio with, and in studios, those records are so sophisticated, but the studios were primitive compared to today's studio. And yet they're still the records we go back and listen to and love.
Yeah, okay. And while you were recording Electric Dream, there was a documentary going on.
Yeah.
Hello, hello, hello.
Yeah.
How was that experience?
It was good. I guess it just played here in the Baffici Festival a few times.
Yes, it was.
It was made by a friend of mine named Fred Rydell, and he was curious about how. When he first heard we were starting the record, he said, "Can I come and film for a few days? I don't have any idea how a record is made." And in the end, the process of making the record took, in on and off periods over almost a year. And Fred came through the whole time and put together this film. And because it's a very special record for me and made in a very unusual process, like I was just saying, it's a really cool record to have a document of. And so I was very happy that he was able to make such a nice film from it.
Okay. And you recorded it between Barcelona and New York.
Yeah.
How was that experience? And also, do you think you can maybe ever do the same thing here in Buenos Aires?
I don't know. It's always possible. You know, it's if in the right studio and being comfortable, could be as easily here as Barcelona or somewhere else. We did most of the recording in New York in the Sonic Youth studio, and we did some recording in Barcelona, and we mixed 2/3 of it in Barcelona and 1/3 in New York. So yeah, we worked back and forth. We did most of the work in New York, though.
Okay. And you talked about Sonic Youth. How would you describe your experience with Sonic Youth in just a few words?
Well, you know, it's one of the most remarkable things that can happen to you in life. You never think when you start a band that you're going to have a 30-year career and have all these people like what you do. So, you know, it was incredible. It was an incredible, long-lasting band, a long run, and I think we did some really nice things.
If you think about all those years with Sonic Youth, is there a particular memory that like illustrates that whole experience?
It's hard to pick one memory from 30 years. You know, I think my main memory is of just all the interesting times we had making music together, the four of us. You know, we went through so many different explorations, and you know, when you're a band, a lot of you play concerts, but you play so much more together in your rehearsal studio or whatever. And we played so much music that no one ever heard except for the four of us or the five of us. And, you know, we're trying now to slowly release some of that stuff. But, you know, it was just remarkable to feel like you were part of something bigger. You know, that even though there were only four of us, it seemed like we made something much bigger from the four of us.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so do you think we can play some music?
Yeah, we can try. My guitar's in a little bit of a strange shape after the flight, but I'll try and play something from the new record.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay, this is called Thrown Over the Wall. The sea to hide our submarines, disguise our faces with names. We use the night to conceal our dreams, and clouds to hide our aeroplanes. Thrown over the wall, thrown over the wall. Thrown over the wall again. Thrown over the wall, thrown over the wall. Thrown over the wall again. We smuggle facts inside a magazine, interpret sadness as shame. Swung high a hammer, just teach them to believe. Bury the lead behind the frame. last of your kind. Are you still hard, my friend? Or maybe no, broken glass and you're off in a rage. Cities pass, or maybe not. Show us what you got. Hello? Hello? It's always a rise and a fall, a real deal certainty of it all. Last of your kind, are you still hard? Show us what you got. We use the sea to hide our submarines, disguise our faces with names. We use the night to conceal our dreams, and clouds to hide our aeroplanes. Call an eclipse to blot out the black moon, floodlight to cover the sun. We sent a lamb to confront the wolf, a child to unholster the gun, thrown over the wall, thrown over the wall, thrown over the wall again, thrown over the wall, thrown over the wall, thrown over the wall again.
That's great. Thank you.